Is Brian Laundrie still alive, and are his parents helping him hide? Look, here's the thing. Well, first of all, the important person in this case is not Brian. Want to make that clear. The important person is Gabby Petito. Brian and Gabby were in a relationship. They went on a cross-country road trip in 2021. Brian returns home without Gabby. Gabby's missing. He goes missing. Gabby's remains are then found, and a month after Brian disappears, his remains are also found with a letter confessing to ending Gabby's life. I made a video about this entire case. I'll put the date when I posted it on the screen so you guys can go see it if you want to go back and watch that for some context. However, many people have started asking questions about the circumstances regarding Brian, his parents, his family, and his passing. And I want to talk about that because I want to know what you guys think. Because honestly, I just this keeps me up at night and I think about it over and over again. And I want to just kind of sort of talk out loud and see what you guys think. So this is me just kind of thinking out loud a little bit. But let's run through the timeline. August 27th is the last time that Gabby Petito is seen alive. September 1st, Brian goes home to Florida on his own. September 6th to September 8th, he goes camping with his entire family in the middle of nowhere. By this point, Gabby's family has started to grow worried because they haven't heard from her and she's supposed to be with Brian in Wyoming, but nobody apart from Brian's family is aware that Brian is alone back in Florida. September 11th, Gabby Petito is officially reported missing. That same night, authorities go to the Laundrie's home. They see Gabby's van parked there. His parents open the door. They say that Brian is home. He has been home, but he doesn't want to talk to anyone. No officers set their own two eyes on Brian to confirm that he was home. Also, quick question. Why did Brian come home, go camping with his entire family when he knew that Gabby was missing before the public realized that Gabby was missing and before her parents called to officially report her a missing person? What were they doing? Well, according to Roberta, Brian's mom, it's just a trip they had planned and they wanted to go, so they went. 6 days later, September 17th, Brian Laundrie is reported missing by his parents. 2 days after he goes missing, Gabby Petito's remains are found. So she is not officially reported missing until September, but she's last seen August 27th, which is the same day officers believe that she lost her life. August 29th, before Brian returned home without Gabby, he makes a phone call home to his parents. He talks to his mother, Roberta, and he speaks to her for 55 minutes. And according to her, Brian tells her that he needs a lawyer, he needs help, and that Gabby is gone. Roberta says that she has no clue what he meant when he said Gabby is gone. She had no clue if they broke up, if she just left, if she returned home. She doesn't know. Brian only says that Gabby is gone, and that's it. However, almost immediately after that phone call, his father calls an attorney and then wires the attorney $25,000. And right after, Roberta then sends an email to Brian about how to get stains out of t-shirts. That same night the phone call happened is when she sends him that email with a link, and when she's later asked about it, she says that it was just an inside joke. And if we're going with their recollection of events, Brian then comes home, they go camping, but apparently they do not talk about Gabby. His parents apparently do not ask any questions. He told them that she was gone, and that was that. They just had no further questions. They don't know anything. She's just gone. They don't know what it means, but that's all that Brian said. And something about Roberta is that she is obsessed with her son. You know those moms that are so obsessed with their sons that they almost get jealous of the girlfriend because they love their son so much? That is Roberta. And you're telling me that she got a frantic phone call from her son saying, I need help, I need a lawyer, Gabby is gone, and she didn't ask any more questions and she doesn't remember anything else? And then you saw him at a camping trip, still didn't ask any questions for 2 days straight when you were together the entire time? Be so for real. Also later on, all the text messages between Roberta and Brian disappear. According to her, she got a new phone for him. She texted this new phone, which made all of their messages on his old phone disappear. Gone. Poof. Nowhere to be found. That does not happen. When his parents reported Brian missing, they were claiming that they had not seen him in 3 days. Okay, so their entire house, outside of their house, their entire neighborhood was covered with news reporters, law enforcement officials, random people. The entire street was flooded with people. People had eyes on that house 24/7. How does Brian manage to leave his house and disappear without a single person seeing him? The story that his parents told police was that he left, he went on a hike and never came back. They hadn't reported him missing earlier because they just thought that he was off on a hike, reconnecting with nature, I guess, in the Carlton Reserve in Sarasota County. And then a massive manhunt begins to find Brian Laundrie in the Carlton Reserve. At that time, 75% of the reserve was flooded with water. Law enforcement is searching through swamps, through mud, pushing through snakes in the water, fighting off alligators. They have people on foot with cadaver dogs, people on boats, little boats, big boats, people on horses, in ATVs, drones, K9 units, divers. This search was costing them $1.5 million, all dedicated to finding Brian Laundrie, but they just could not not find him. At the same time, officers are back at the Laundrie house searching his house, and in his bedroom they find a letter, a handwritten letter written by Roberta Laundrie to her son Brian. The letter was in an envelope that said, quote, Brian Christopher Laundrie, burn after reading, end quote. They open the letter and it reads, quote, I just want you to remember that I will always love you, and I know you will always love me. You are my boy. Nothing can make me stop loving you. Nothing will or could ever divide us, no matter what we do or where we go or what we say. We will always love each other. If you're in jail, I will bake a cake with a file in it. If you need to dispose of a body, I will show up with a shovel and garbage bags. If you fly to the moon, I will be watching the skies for your re-entry. If you say you hate my guts, I will get new guts. Nothing can separate us, not hatred, not hunger, not homelessness, not threats, not even sin, not the thinkable or unthinkable can get between us, not time, not miles and miles and miles. This woman is obsessed with her son. If you hate my guts, I will get new guts. Who even writes like that? My brain would never come up with a sentence like that. What? Second of all, though, my point being is that you're telling me that this woman that is obsessed with her son let him out of her sight in the most troubling time of his life. You're telling me that a woman that is that in love with her son just let him wander off and then didn't wonder about his whereabouts for days, didn't report him missing for days, isn't out looking for him, trying to find him. Gabby Petito's family is tearing the world apart trying to find her because the Laundrie family is being zero help. Yet Roberta Laundrie is just sitting at home on the couch knowing that her son is missing. That makes no sense. The only reason in my head as to why that could maybe make sense, as to why she wouldn't be outside looking for her son, is either because she knew where her son was or she did not want him to be found, or both. Also later on, when she's asked about why she wrote on that envelope, burn after reading, she says that that was an inside joke too. How many inside jokes do you have with your son, and why are they so weird? 2 days into Brian's disappearance, Gabby Petito's body is found in Wyoming. Authorities believed that she had been there since August 27th, and her cause of death was ruled a homicide. The search for Brian continued with no luck until 1 month in, on October 20th of 2021, when his remains were found at the Carlton Reserve by his parents. For 37 days, authorities carried out one of the largest manhunts in recent memory and found nothing. His parents then decided to go look, and they found him within an hour and 20 minutes. And looping back around to the weird camping trip the Laundrie family took when Brian had secretly returned home, people believe that either the family was getting together in an isolated, remote area because Brian confessed and they were trying to figure out what the plan was going to be, or because he told them that he had been planning on unaliving himself, and that was, I guess, his last way to say goodbye. But who's to say? Brian's remains were found completely decomposed, and it was ruled that he unalived himself using a weapon. But this is the thing about the case that made me go, because Gabby's remains were found in fine condition for how long she was believed to have been outside and for the weather conditions that she was found in. Her body still looked like a body. She was found in a fetal position after over 20 days of being missing. Yet Brian Laundrie was missing for 37 days, and when they found him, all they found were teeth and bones. And my initial reaction was, there's no way, right? However, after looking a little bit more into it, I realized just how different the conditions were in where Brian was found versus Gabby. Because of how his remains were found, it's believed that he had been submerged under the water for weeks. I'm pretty sure the exact area that he was found in had been flooded with 3 feet of water and had just recently started to dry up. And that water was 85 degrees, which would make sense as to how that would affect the decomposition of a human body massively. But still, he was found a mile away from where his vehicle was parked. It's so hard for me to believe that authorities with search efforts that cost them over $1 million would have missed him, yet his parents found him within an hour and 20 minutes. With him, a confession letter of sorts was found where he basically says, yeah, I was the person who ended Gabby's life, but I only did it because she got hurt. I couldn't carry her. She was in pain and I wanted to put her out of her misery. But it's not even up for debate whether that's true or not, because not a single one of Gabby's autopsy results matches up to Brian's version of events, not one. So that entire letter was a slap on the face, really. It also kind of felt like it was just a way for him to get the last word in, which is disgusting. And I'm sure you guys have seen people on the internet all the time talking about Brian Laundrie still being alive and his parents helping him hide out. But it is important to know that DNA did confirm that the remains that were found, which were a lot of bones, including parts of his ribs, pelvis, and his skull, DNA confirmed that those bones and teeth belonged to Brian Laundrie. There is no denying that. DNA is DNA. However, the issue that I have is that I strongly believe that his parents knew knew what he did. I believe that they knew that he ended Gabby's life. I also believe they knew exactly where he was when he went missing, and they allowed Gabby's family to remain hopeful, knowing that she was never coming back. They allowed that search that cost $1.5 million to happen, knowing where their son was. And I think they knew exactly what was going on at all times. And if someone knowingly hides or withholds information that's important to a criminal investigation, they could be charged with different crimes such as obstruction of justice, accessory to the fact, making false statements, etc., etc. Yet his parents were never charged with any of that. Gabby's parents, rightfully so, did sue Brian's estate, as well as filed a separate lawsuit against Christopher and Roberta Laundrie, alleging emotional distress and that they withheld information. That lawsuit was settled in February of 2024 for an undisclosed amount. However, that was a civil lawsuit, not a criminal lawsuit, which are different things. And I think that his mother should be handed criminal charges, but I don't know. Everything that I said was alleged, solely based on my personal information, using information that, public information that I gathered from the internet. Don't come for me. Gabby Petito's family started the Gabby Petito Foundation in her honor. One of the best ways to support the Petito family is by making a donation to that foundation. Their mission is to together make a difference, save lives, reunite families with missing loved ones, and prevent tragedies like Gabby's from happening to anyone else. Let me know what you guys think. This really keeps me up at night. Like, I'll be peacefully sleeping and then I'll be like, what happened? Anyway, hope you guys are having the best day. If not, go do something to make it the best day. Make somebody happy, and I will see you in my next video. Massive kiss on the forehead to every single one of you.